this morning, head coach Jamie Dixon helped hand out donuts, which along with pizzas and those gold out t-shirts everybody's wearing, were donated by the corporate community, which is also pumped for this game. Standing room only tickets sold out in a matter of minutes, and the last time I checked online, floor seats were going for a record $900. Sean?
Ray Natilli, Roger Ayers, and Brian Kersey will work this game. Could be a record crowd in this building when they count them all up. They come in on a frigid night. The temperature in the single digits outside is expected to get down near 10 below, and that's without the wind chill. Pitt controlled the tip.
Both these teams man-to-man teams, and immediately Rodney Hood on Lamar Patterson.
Cameron Wright, now Robinson, leading the country in assist to turnover ratio.
And Jabari Parker, the freshman, on Talib Zanna. Zanna, the biggest man on the floor.
Good defense by Tyler Thornton. And the rebound taken down by Emil Jefferson. So first possession for Duke, and it's Thornton in the absence of Cook running the show.
Hood being guarded by Cameron Wright, an excellent defender.
Rodney Hood trying to probe the lane. Out of bounds. Last touch by Pittsburgh. Jamie Dixon doesn't like the call.
It didn't go. It was off of Hood.
The officials changed it after conferring. Mike Krzyzewski won his 900th game at Duke on Saturday with that win over FSU. He and Jim Boeheim are the only coaches who have won 900 games at one school. Coach K's won 973. The leading coach in basketball history at this level won 73 games at Army before he came to Duke.
Duke is switching handoffs, and they're trying to push Pittsburgh a little further out on the floor.
Zanna. It's taken off the floor by Hood.
Well, that was really good defense by Jabari Parker. Just made Zanna score over him. Didn't foul.
Thornton's a senior from Washington, D.C. Pittsburgh man-to-man defense, one of the best defensive teams in the country, allowing just 60 points per game. Parker a deep three, well short. Michael Young fouled on his way to the basket on the run by Rashid Suleiman. Jamie Dixon's in his 11th season as head coach, his 15th year at Pitt, 4 years as an assistant to Ben Howland before he got elevated to the top job, and he's done a terrific job. 76% of the games in the win column for Jamie as the Pitt head coach.
Sean, Jabari Parker shooting down in the 30s percentage-wise in ACC games. And I think that last shot is an example of why. Now that area is an area from which Parker can score. He's a good shooter. He can make that shot. But that was a shot that he took under extreme pressure from Young. And I think it was a bad shot, and that's what really led to that run out for Pittsburgh.
2 free throws by Michael Young. Pittsburgh leads 2-0. And a dunk by Jabari Parker, who I think with what you were saying in mind, Jay, lately has been camping out in the paint much more than he had previously.
Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that's a much better shot than the first one he took, and he needs to be able to drive the ball. He's got an advantage and can drive it, and he needs to take advantage of that advantage.
Peterson, wow, tough shot. He hung in the air from the top of the key and just inside the three-point line for his first bucket of the night.
Well, Tyler Thornton came late to try to block that shot or bother it, and he did, but great concentration by Patterson. He is such a good cutter and came off that screen ready to shoot.
Suleiman, the pull-up. Little long, rebounded by Talib Zanna. He's averaging 8 rebounds per game to lead Pittsburgh. Both teams are 1 for 3 from the floor.
That correct screen in transition that Zanna did, so it opened up the lane for Robinson.
This student section is right on top of the floor. It's one of the most raucous in all college basketball. Pittsburgh hasn't lost at home this year. They've won 14 straight in this building, dating back to last year. Parker lost it at the edge of the lane. It was kept alive by Jefferson. Hood missed a deep one. Thornton Tried to deflect it off a Panther, but it wound up with Lamar Patterson.
But both these teams so active going after the ball. What a move.
Patterson fouled as he moved acrobatically down the lane. And really, you saw there, Jay, the big difference for Patterson. He's lost a lot of weight. 11 pounds since last year. Reduced his body fat by about 4%. Jamie Dixon says he's just in much better shape, and it's enabled him to make plays like the one we just saw.
Well, I agree, and he's got a much better handle. He's really worked on that and tightened it up. That crossover move he made, you won't see a lot of point guards making that move any better. And he's a big guy that can make that move, and he has been doing it all season long. He is one of the toughest covers in the country, and I think he's put himself in a position to be a Player of the Year candidate.
So Quinn Cook is into the game with the bulky ankle. He got some work of their shoot around on that ankle this morning. 8-2. Pittsburgh's on a 6-0 run over the last minute. Cook's a junior from Washington, D.C. Marshall Plumlee is also in for Duke, and here's Andre Dawkins, number 34. Good three-point shooter out there for Coach K. Plumlee couldn't handle the pass from Parker, the second Duke turnover.
And Plumlee was wide open after setting that ball screen and slipping to the basket. When they passed out of it, Parker had him wide open, just threw it too hard.
Josh Hairston comes in for Jabari Parker.
It's not a great scoring lineup for Duke, but a lineup that can guard.
Jamel Artis, a freshman forward, has come in for Pittsburgh, number 1. He's the backup to fellow freshman Michael Young at the power forward spot. Cameron Wright, guarded by Dawkins.
That was a nice hedge of that ball screen by Marshall Plumlee.
Cameron Wright, about 18 feet off the shot clock. And our first media timeout. Pittsburgh leading 8-2. When we come back, two of the biggest stars in college basketball. Jay Billis.
It's about patience. Coach always says, wait for the screen.
Lamar Patterson is one of the best in the country at using ball screens, and Pittsburgh will run a ball screen slip and then another ball screen, and you do a great job of waiting for the screen and then reading what you've got coming off it. When you get that first screen and he slips and the second screen comes, what exactly are you looking for coming off?
First, I'm looking for the slip. It depends on whoever's guarding the slip man. If he stays, then I'll just hit him. If not, then I'll wait for the second screen. And then I'll read, this is the 5-man coming off. So if he hedges, I'll just hit the roll, hit him. And then if he shows, I'll just attack him. Just try to attack him, get in the paint. And then I'll just make a play from right here.
And when he gets to that point after turning the corner, the first time we ran that, he said, this is my world, and it is. He is so patient coming off those ball screens. First, he waits for the screen to be set, and he sets it up very well. Lamar Patterson, one of the best players in the country.
Dawkins, a 3. He's one of the best three-point shooters in Duke history. That's career 3. Number 209. He's tied for 12th place all-time at Duke with Chris Collins. Now the Northwestern head coach, longtime Duke assistant.
That play set up for Dawkins coming out of that timeout, and oftentimes when he gets off to a good start, Mike Krzyzewski will run play after play for him to take advantage of how hot he may be.
Patterson commits the first Pittsburgh turnover. Derek Randall's come off the bench, as has Chris Jones for Pittsburgh. They're numbers 11 and 12, respectively.
Here they go, running for him again.
Dawkins deflected by Patterson into the hands of Robinson, who had to look out for Cook from behind. Patterson, a floater. And the freshman artist tried to tip it up and in, and then Derek Randall called for the over-the-back foul first on the junior in his first year at Pitt as a transfer from Rutgers, where he played for 2 years.
So Sean Patterson missed that shot, but that's sort of the old man game he's got. When he puts the ball on the deck, he's not going to blast all the way to the rim. He's going to play with pace, and he stopped for that little floater, and that's a shot that normally he's going to make.
Plumlee sets up inside, and it's spun off to Derek Randall.
Plumlee didn't make that shot, but he got really good position there.
Plumlee has seen more and more minutes lately. He's recovering from ankle surgery. Artis fouled on his way to the rim by Andre Dawkins.
Patterson really took advantage of Plumlee switching out on him, and he drew Josh Hairston over to stop him on the drive, and that opened up that pass underneath, and just a terrific play to get it to Jamel Artis. He's really got a lot of game. I'm not sure there's anybody in the league, and only a handful of players in the country that you could say have been as or more efficient than Lamar Patterson.
Artis made the first free throw, pitch perfect from the line. Duke hasn't shot a free throw yet. I think the evidence of what you were saying about Patterson, Jay, the most recent evidence, came Saturday in their 4-point win at Maryland. 28 points for Patterson, including 12 free throws, which was a career high, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. And a typical Pitt player who stays for 4 years, or 5 years in his case, had a redshirt year, they get better and better as the years go along.
Well, and it shows you can stay and improve. Jamie Dixon spoke to that today at the shoot-around. And sometimes people think, hey, if you don't go out early, you don't have game. Well, Lamar Patterson didn't have this kind of game a couple years ago, but he really worked and worked.
Parker, strong move into the middle of the lane, but missed the shot. Patterson, beautiful pass, and Young was stripped. Nice defense. Running back by Tyler Thornton, an excellent defender.
Boy, how about that rebound by Patterson? He just took it away from Emil Jefferson, who's an outstanding rebounder himself. And I'm not sure you're going to see Russell Wilson or Peyton Manning lead a receiver any better than Patterson did on that.
Patterson will get a breather. And probably not for long. They're about 10 deep. They lost to Ron Johnson, who was their 6th man, having an excellent year. Their second leading 3-point shooter, averaging 9 points per game. Injured his knee against Wake Forest and is done for the year. But they're still about 9 or 10 deep on most nights. Parker, good job with that rebound in traffic.
Chris Jones almost knocked that away from him. You got to be strong with it.
Hood missed an open 3. Josh Newkirk, freshman backup point guard, jammed it underneath. For the 2 for Chris Jones.
John, Pittsburgh has really been working on their secondary break, on really pushing it up the floor and trying to get something early. They really took advantage of Duke's transition defense.
Very tough shot by Suleiman. It hit the bottom of the backboard. But then Emil Jefferson was in the right place.
Duke's got to continue to drive the ball and not settle for jump shots.
Wright looking for help, finds it underneath Randall, and a tip by Young, and it's gathered in by Parker, who averages 8 rebounds per game. At the other end, Suleiman missed the layup.
It looked like he got hit. That was difficult take.
Chris Jones, redshirt freshman out of Teaneck, New Jersey. Young couldn't get it to spin in. Crowd thought he was fouled.
That was an awfully easy drive to get all the way to the rim, and Pittsburgh just not finishing that play.
Parker. Offensive rebound. Jefferson fouled with the swat from behind by Chris Jones. His first foul. And a timeout. The homestanding Panthers lead Duke by 5.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Verizon. Verizon's 4G LTE network is 3 times larger than any other 4G LTE network.
We welcome you back to Pittsburgh. You're looking at the legendary Dick Groat. He's a Pittsburgh legend and a Duke legend as well. Played baseball and basketball at Duke. Was the National Player of the Year in basketball in '52 when he was the first and only player to lead the country in scoring and assists. The first Duke player to have his jersey retired. Played briefly in the NBA, but decided he was better suited for baseball. And boy, was that a good decision. Won the batting title and MVP for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 1960 season when they won the World Series. Went on to the Cardinals, key member of their World Championship team in '64, and honored by both coaches, and got a loud standing ovation from this crowd. They love him here in Pittsburgh. 35 years on the radio network now for the Panthers.
Well, a phenomenal athlete and a Hall of Famer in every way, but an even better person. You're not going to find a better guy than Dick Groat.
83 years young. You know, I looked up some information about Dick today, and I was told this morning by Jamie Dixon the reason that he chose baseball, even though a lot of people thought he was actually a better basketball player, there was more money in baseball back then, and there wasn't a lot of money in either sport professionally back in those days. But to be an All-American in baseball and basketball, one of the best players in the country in both, what a remarkable athlete, as you said, a better man.
Well, before he was drafted into the NBA, if I remember right, he told me the story many years ago, but he had signed a contract to play professional baseball. And one of the things that his father told him at the time is, you're going to honor that contract that you signed. He wanted to play basketball, and even now, as great a baseball player as he was, no matter where you go, people are waiting for him to get them to sign cards and bats and everything. He wants to talk about basketball. He's not interested in talking about baseball. He wants to talk ground ball.
He's leading the country in points and assists.
Really amazing.
Artis got out of a double team. Zana. Boy, they're a beautiful passing team. The ball moves so quickly, and it's an open three for Cameron Wright on the first three-point attempt of the night for the Pitt Panthers.
Well, you talk about patience, and you're exactly right about their beautiful passing. That was interior, in close quarters, and they kick it out and then find the open man. For this team, their best player is always the open man, and they're seeking out that open man.
Talk about nice passing. Nice cut to the goal by Parker, and Hood found it.
Well, that was a really well-executed pick and roll. And Pittsburgh, usually really good on their pick and roll coverage, just had a breakdown with their weak side help and their tag.
Peterson on the floor, guarded by Hood. Two of the best players in the country locked up in that matchup.
Hood right on Peterson, not letting him make a move. Peterson getting a little bit frustrated with him.
Shot clock under 10. Again, a nice interior pass, but Zana had it blocked. Shot clock running out. Peterson has it back. Now they have a full shot clock. Another beautiful pass. Young couldn't finish. Zana had it too. And now Parker the other way. And he's fouled by Cameron Wright. His first.
Well, Pittsburgh and their interior passing, not just the interior passing, but period. These are close quarters passes. And you're not going to find a lot of big guys that are keen to keep their composure with the ball at that point. And still they find Cam Wright wide open in the left corner. And Pittsburgh, Sean, is getting a lot of opportunities by the rim, and they're not making them. They've either got to score or get fouled in there.
Rashid Suleiman, the sophomore, back in for Dawkins.
Sean, on Jabari Parker, how many players in the country are going to grab a rebound, take it the other end at his size? What a phenomenal play by that freshman.
6'8", 235. He has 6 points. He's had a double-double in each of their last two games at 14 points and 14 rebounds. Saturday against Florida State, 10 of those rebounds were the offensive end.
Yeah, the last two games, he's had 29 rebounds, 16 of them on the offensive end. When you grab those 14 boards against Florida State, going 3 of 14, you're not going to find a lot of players that do that. When they're struggling from the field, they continue to rebound at that rate.
Zana, nice roll to the bucket. Set up by Peterson.
And that's what we did in the demo. We showed that first ball screen slip, and then the second ball screen comes. And that's exactly what Lamar Peterson said he was going to do. If the slip man is open, he hits him.
Balanced Pittsburgh attack as usual. 7 different players have scored. Held ball, and on the arrow it'll stay with Duke.
Watch Talib Zana here. He's going to go out and set a ball screen. You see him right here setting that ball screen. When he does, he just slips it. And Jabari Parker just a little bit late in getting there. And that's exactly what Lamar Peterson talked about. Slip guys open, I'm going to hit him. And then he's going to read the defense coming off that second screen by waiting for the screen to be set and then coming off it, seeing whether they're hedging, whether they're showing, whether they're playing it soft, then he's going to react accordingly.
Let's check in quickly with Janine.
Well, guys, you were just talking about the strong rebounding performance by Duke on Saturday. That's one thing that Jamie Dixon wanted more from his team during that last timeout, telling them he wants all 5 guys rebounding, using their bodies, being a lot more physical and a lot more aggressive on the boards.
Parker for 3 out of the corner. Jabari Parker, he has 9 points. He's a 38% three-point shooter. That number's come down a little bit in recent weeks.
He looks much more comfortable after going out for a little while and coming back in. And that's the kind of shot, that's a much better shot for him, because he took it after a ball reversal.
A double team, and Hood ripped it away from Patterson. And then Lamar Patterson called for a foul, his first. Conference play continues on ESPN, a Super Tuesday doubleheader. Jay will have the quick turnaround. It'll be in Iowa City. Well, the Hawkeyes in Michigan State tomorrow night at 7, and then at 9, 11th ranked Kentucky. That young team getting better and better as the season progresses. Taking on LSU. Both games are on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN.
Well, that was a really good sequence there by Marshall Plumlee. Duke deciding that they were going to come out and trap that ball screen situation. They trapped before the screen even got there. That was just a terrific defensive job by the big guy.
Chance for Duke to take the lead now. Matt Jones back on the court for Duke. It's Cook, Hood, Parker, Jones, and Jefferson. And that's a 3, and Duke has the lead.
Hood got the matchup that he wanted. Got a switch with Josh Newkirk, and he realized he had a size advantage, just could shoot straight over, and that's exactly what he did.
First lead of the night for the Blue Devils. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Young, nice move by the freshman who grew up here in the Pittsburgh area, watching and cheering for the Pitt Panthers. Shake and bake into the lane. Too strong. And the freshman Young ripped down the rebound. And you asked Jamie Dixon this morning, what are you happy about right now? Jamie said, really pleased with the progress of the freshman, including Young. The Duke foul on Matt Jones that gets us to a timeout.
Well, Rodney Hood has been incredibly consistent all season long, getting the matchup he wanted, pulling up for the 3. What a consistent and versatile player he's been.
Tied at 19 here at the Pete for a jam-packed standing room only crowd. Let's go inside the play with Jay Billis.
Really good adjustment by Mike Krzyzewski on the ball screen coverage involving the screen slip action with Lamar Patterson. You're going to see that Pittsburgh is going to come up to try to set this ball screen. And when they do, Marshall Plumlee is going to beat the screen, and he's going to go out there and blitz it or double team it and really just blow it up completely. And when that dribble is picked up by Lamar Patterson, it turns into a turnover, and Patterson actually picks up a foul. We'll see if Duke keeps with that blitzing of a ball screen when Patterson's got the ball. It works really well with Plumlee because of his size, and he can also really run.
Well, I remember 2 weeks ago, Jay, when we were at Duke for the game against Virginia, and our first big Monday, they just lost at Clemson 2 days before, and a lot of angst about they had nobody, a big guy near the basket who could help in that area on defense. Can Plumlee give him that as well?
He can. He's a good shot blocker, a very good rebounder. He just needs to get some minutes and get some experience, but he's got the ability to be one of those glue guys for a team that can come in and defend in the post, rebound, finish plays.
Shot clock expiring, so Patterson from way beyond the arc. And the rebound to Emile Jefferson. Under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Start of a great big Monday. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma to follow. Hood stripped as he dribbled into traffic. Big team defense, as is so often the case by Pitt. And the acrobatic score by Cameron Wright.
What a pass by Josh Newkirk. Well, I'll tell you, Sean, you'd better be strong with the ball when you take it to the basket. It's like those defensive backs that punch the ball in football right out of your hands. You think you're strong with it, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Quinn Cook. Jamie Dixon this morning told us that's really the biggest challenge when you play Duke. They can drive from just about every position. Every player on their team, when they spread that half-court offense, can drive it.
Well, especially when they clear from the wing. They do a really good job of getting to the rim, and they've been more resolute the last few minutes in trying to get to that rim and draw fouls.
Blocked out of bounds by Zana.
Quinn Cook tried to draw a foul by putting his shoulder right into the defender, and Zana just continued to run. We talked about Marshall Plumlee being able to run. It's probably an offensive foul there, but Zana can really run as well.
Suleiman pulls it out. Dawkins back in. Plumlee and Hairston have also returned.
Plumlee really ducking in hard to be active. That's going to really occupy Zana in there.
Dawkins, feet set for a three. That's just about a layup when you give him that much time and space.
Well, there's penetration against the zone. The most debilitating factor against the zone is dribble penetration. You're going to freeze it, collapse it, and kick it out.
2 threes tonight for Dawkins. 210 for his career. He's tied with Greg Pumps on the all-time list, now in 11th place. And the three at the other end. First three for Artis. And we're back into a tie.
I think it's his first three in ACC play. He doesn't shoot many of them.
Yeah, it's just his fourth the entire year.
Taking Duke a while to get into something, switching the ball screen up top.
Long two by Cook with the shot clock running down. And as Wright scooped it off the floor, a Duke foul on Josh Hairston, his first.
Well, you can screen against the zone, and Josh Hairston sets a little ball screen up top against the top of that 2-3 zone. And that really drew everybody in to stop that penetration. They were able to kick it to Dawkins, and then Pittsburgh with Artis hitting his first three in ACC play.
Not a lot of attempts by either team. Duke, no surprise, 4 out of 7. They're almost 41% as a team. That's best in the ACC and 9th of the country.
Now, Duke hits about 9 threes a game. Hit about half that. And they lost a lot of their three-point attack when Deron Johnson went out with that injury when he hurt himself against Wake Forest.
Zana has it back after his first shot was off target. And he'll go to the line for 2.
Well, Jamel Artis kept that ball alive. That was a big play by Artis. Couldn't grab it, but he's able to keep it alive. And it looked like Zana got fouled there, but both Hairston and Artis were going after it. Artis able to keep it alive when Zana was able to grab it. Boy, Zana's had a terrific season. What does he average, 16 and 8?
In conference play, yes, he has. A little bit less than that overall for the year. And we talk about the culture here at Pitt. A lot of their players redshirt. They don't have a lot of players who leave early for the NBA, and they get better and better. You could pretty much count on it for a long stretch back in the Big East days that the most improved player in the Big East was going to be a Pitt player. Parker.
What a move. Just uses his body so well.
And in transition, Cameron Wright.
Now, Cam Wright is not a great perimeter shooter. He doesn't have great range on his shot, but he's a good mid-range shooter. He shoots a good percentage.
Parker putting on a show for the 20 NBA scouts who are here tonight. He has 14 points in the first half. And many of those rows occupied by NBA folks.
Well, Parker looks really engaged in this game. He's got a great look on his face. He's talking. And he's been very active on both ends of the floor.
The crowd thought that was a double dribble. They kind of groaned. They got away with it, then turned it over. Parker went behind the back and didn't score. Patterson, lucky, tried to dribble through two, and a foul was called. Coach K didn't think that was a foul.
Well, you talk about a player who is versatile, skilled, and an outstanding jump shooter. Jabari Parker can play inside or out. That's a terrific drop step inside to get past Jamel Artis, and you give him a little bit of space, he can rise up and hit from deep. What a player.
We're in studio. Coming up on the Mazda Halftime Report, which is the best conference in college basketball? Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg will hash it out, and neither coach nor Jay Will chose the ACC. Sean, Jay?
Very interesting. You want to offer your opinion? That's the dumbest question I've ever asked. Do you want to offer your opinion?
Well, I mean, the two best conferences have been the Big Ten and the Big 12. They've got the most teams that are NCAA tournament worthy and capable of reaching a Final Four. The ACC has been good, but it hasn't been as good as I think most of us expected.
Well, certainly Carolina has not been as good as most expected. Part of that due to the roster depletion. Duke ball, they're up by 2. Final 3 minutes of the first half. Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, and Janine Edwards at the sold-out Peterson Event Center. Every game in the history of this building in the regular season has been sold out. Takeaway by Robinson. Patterson lofted it up. It almost went into the basket. He was trying to pass it. Saved by Parker. Hood shut off by Zana.
Duke very fortunate there. That wasn't a very good pass by Quinn Cook, and I'm not sure that was a good shot right there by Jabari Parker. That's
Emil Jefferson called for his first foul. Duke is over the limit. It'll be a 1-1 for Pitt. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney continues Saturday. Big flash in the ACC. We talk about anticipated games up at the Carrier Dome. They are all fired up. It'll probably be a record crowd there as Syracuse hosts Duke. Coach K coaching against one of his very closest friends, Jim Boeheim, longtime assistant with the U.S. national team, the Olympic team. And he spoke at length with Coach K this morning, and he went on, what would you say, for about 5 minutes about what an impressive person and coach Jim Boeheim is to him.
Yeah, he couldn't have been more complimentary of Jim Boeheim, and rightfully so. I thought it was especially interesting how he talked about Boeheim's service to the game, how he's been all these years that people wouldn't realize how many years he spent on the board of the NABC. USA Basketball on their selection committee helped picking the teams, whether they be junior national teams or senior national teams. He's really had a lot of years of dedicated service to the game. It's not all just been Syracuse.
I love Coach K's description about Jim Boeheim. Said he is a great thinker. Parker's first attempt got blocked, but it wound up right back in his hands. And his huge half continues. 16 points for the freshman from Chicago.
When he drives the ball, he can be so much more effective than when he just settles for jump shots.
Timeout called by Jamie Dixon. He was way out onto the court to get that timeout call.
Well, Jabari Parker to this point has been the player of the game, shown his versatility by catching and driving, then setting the ball screen. Pittsburgh slow and getting over from the weak side to pick up that roll, going down into the post, and then when he has a catch and shoot opportunity and not forcing it on the perimeter, knocking down the three-point shot. He has shown the complete game. And of the really good shots, Sean, of that 6 of 13 that he's taken, I bet he's taken 3 or 4 he'd probably like to have back. His percentages are really high when he takes good shots.
2 out of 4 from three-point range. Brian Kersey over having a chat with Jamie Dixon. I think Coach K complained they went to the timeout about how far onto the court Jamie Dixon was. It seemed to be what Mike was gesturing about. Perhaps that's what Kersey was saying. Artis a 3, and then he did some woofing after the ball went through the net. 8 points for the freshman Artis. Averages just 4.5 a game.
And he has looked incredibly confident catching the ball out on the perimeter. Now he's got Parker one-on-one. Here comes the double team.
Zana came over. Leads to an open 3. Oh, Wright jumped out quickly on Quinn Cook, whose shot was way off. Foul on Robinson, his first.
Artis does a really nice job of stepping back to get to the three-point line. Then not sure whether he had something to say to Jabari Parker or it was to the crowd or probably to Parker. But they brought that double team very effectively. Talib Zana came over to double team Parker, but they allowed him to split it. They got to stay shoulder to shoulder there.
Ticking down to 1 minute left in the half. It's been tight throughout. The largest Pitt lead 7. Duke's biggest advantage 3. And now Hood buries one. 9th lead change in the game. It's been tied 5 times.
How about that shot? Talk about a guy creating his own. Lamar Patterson in pretty good defensive position.
Well, Hood didn't start Saturday against Florida State. He was a late scratch. Originally was in the starting lineup. He got sick before the game, and Coach K was saying he's one of those guys, Jay, who gets very excited, nervous, fired up before the game, and sometimes it makes him sick. The nerves going to work. So Shane Battier used to do that quite a bit.
Let's start recruiting guys that throw up before games because it works.
Yes. Young inside. Now the Pitt bench telling the Panthers to take the last shot. Oh boy, Cook just a little brush as Robinson was probing. First foul on Quinn Cook.
Robinson looked like he got a little bit of an angle on Cook. He just bumped him. Not a lot there, but he put his forearm on him. Yeah, you put that forearm on, that's basically an automatic call. That's like 2 hands on the ball handler, has been for years.
Robinson, terrific free throw shooter, 87%. Sophomore from Mitchellville, Maryland. And of course, he jinxed him. And Coach K a quick timeout after Dawkins handled the rebound.
4.4, you can get all the way to the rim.
Duke by 2. Here's Janine Edwards.
Well, Sean, you were just talking about Rodney Hood getting those pre-game jitters. I spoke to head trainer Jose Fonseca, who told me it's been an ongoing issue with him and something that they've actually started treating. Fonseca has educated Hood on what to eat, what not to eat, when to eat, and how much. And he also gives him an anti-nausea tablet called Zofran before some games. And yes, he did have one tonight.
I take one of those before every broadcast with Jay. I might need one if I see your commercial again, by the way. That Wendy's Wooden Award. Who was your body double? Because it looked like you were leaping, and I know you can't leave the floor. Was there a stunt double for that part of it?
I have mad hops.
See what Coach K has drawn up. Suleiman. Jay said time to get all the way to the rim. He did, but didn't make the shot. As expected, a terrific first half between 2 of the top 18 teams in the country. Back and forth game, tied 5 times. Jabari Parker, the star. There's Janine with Jamie Dixon.
Coach, one of the things you had talked about with your players was not letting this game become too big. How have they handled that so far in this first half?
Never thought. Just got to guard the ball, and they made some tough threes, give them credit. So 2 good teams going after it. Just a normal game.
What do you need to do better in the second half?
Well, I think we guard the threes. We had some breakdowns defensively. They made some, but I thought most of them were tough shots. We're in good shape.
Thanks, Coach.
Duke was 6 for 11 from 3-point range in the first half. 16 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of 3 balls for Jabari Parker. The Mazda halftime report, Chris, Seth, and Jay. Welcome back to Big Monday, presented by Verizon. You are watching the ACC on ESPN. Duke making its first trip ever to the Peterson Event Center, taking on Pittsburgh. The visitors lead by 2. Only 5 offensive rebounds, Jay, for Duke in that first half, contrasted to the 27 they had Saturday against Florida State, which was the 3rd highest total ever under Coach K. But as a former colleague of ours might say, they've been effective when they've gotten those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, they certainly turned them into points with 12 second-chance points, but Duke has 6 3-point field goals made in that first half. They were 6 of 11. Pitt only allows 30% shooting from the line on the season. That's both for the season and in ACC play. And Duke was able to shoot 54%. Half of Duke's field goals have been from the three-point line. So Pittsburgh's going to have to run them off that line and make them take tough twos instead of threes.
5 ties, 9 lead changes in the first half. The largest Pitt lead was 7. Duke's biggest edge 3. Pitt ball to begin the second half. James Robinson, the point guard. Lamar Patterson. Cameron Wright turned the corner into the traffic, took a hit. Talib Zana the offensive rebound. And we're tied at 34.
Getting in the lane off those handoffs, and everybody seemed to go after the block shot. That opened up the offensive glass for Pittsburgh, an excellent rebounding team.
Robinson deflected the ball out of bounds. Here's Janine.
Well, guys, Mike Krzyzewski was very, very pleased with his team's offensive rebounding in that first half, but he would like them to step up their defensive rebounding and also would like to see them do a better job executing their half-court offense. Guys?
Pitt out-rebounded Duke by 1 in the first half overall, 18-17. Pitt is plus 9.2 for the year in rebounding margin. Best in the ACC, one of the best in the country. Hood a deep 3. And the rebound down to Michael Young, the freshman.
Probably the most open that Hood has been in this game.
Cameron Wright couldn't connect with Talib Zana. Cook the other way. Hood's open again for 3, and he doesn't miss that time.
He's not going to miss 2 in a row from that spot. Yeah, he's such a good jump shooter. And Pittsburgh, I think, needs to continue to drive the lane. They're going to get some opportunities. Both teams have had a hard time because everything's contested, finishing plays around the basket.
Patterson's had a quiet game, 4 points, 4 rebounds. He also had 4 turnovers in the first half.
Good slip.
Zana. And in the right spot, Michael Young, the freshman, with the putback.
That slip through weak side help. That opened up the offensive glass, even though Zana was unable to finish the play.
Rashid Suleiman cut off by Patterson. Quinn Cook traveled, shuffled his feet.
Well, we talked about this slip, and he really didn't need to go all the way out because Emil Jefferson got on the top side of him. Didn't have to go all the way to the screen, could just go to the basket. And Rodney Hood, he just runs to that three-point line in transition. And transition defense has changed. You can't just run to the rim anymore. You got to run to that three-point line or you'll pay for it.
Duke and Pittsburgh have met only 12 times previously, but among those 12, some of the biggest wins in Pittsburgh basketball history. Dating back to 1957, Don Hennon scored 45 points. That's still the school record. They upset Duke in double overtime. Sam Clancy in 1979, a steal and a field goal. They beat number 7 Duke. And then the last time they met was at Madison Square Garden, 2007. Jay, you did that game in overtime. Levance Fields with less than 5 seconds to go. The winning bucket, and that was the night Lamar Patterson committed to Pitt. Caught up in that win over Duke. He said, I'm coming to play for you, Jamie Dixon.
How about that? That game also, I remember Mike Cook got injured late in that ball game. That really set Pittsburgh back. They had a terrific team. DeJuan Blair, if I remember right, had 20 rebounds in that game.
He did. Cook was injured on the first possession of the overtime. Levance Fields dedicated that winning shot to the injured teammate. Talib Zana fouled. It was obvious you were there. It was a gruesome injury for Mike Cook. Fouls on Emil Jefferson, his second. So Pittsburgh will have an opportunity to retake the lead at the free throw line.
Jefferson's done a nice job on the glass. He had 6 rebounds in the first half. Without him against Virginia a couple weeks ago, no way does Duke win that game. He had 15 boards and made some really big plays down the stretch for Duke to pull that one out.
Officials are over at the scorers table. Ryan Kersey and Ray Natilli trying to sort something out. No idea what this is about, do you?
No, I don't.
Pittsburgh 18-2 overall, but Jay, for many the question still remains, how good are they? They've played 2 teams that are in the top 50 in the RPI and lost to both. Their 2 losses were a 1-point defeat in the Jimmy V Classic in New York to Cincinnati, which is proving to be an excellent team. And their other loss was that tight one at Syracuse.
It's a good team. The questions are fair as far as how you're going to vote in rankings and all that, because Pittsburgh did not play an incredibly challenging non-conference schedule. Now they're going to get tested in the ACC. We'll know by the end of the year. But if people are complaining that, well, they didn't vote us high enough in the top 25, well, you know what? You got to play more people. I get that.
A lot of the fans here were asking us before the game. We're 18-2. We're only number 18 in the country, but the voters still want to be convinced. Zana, rattled out, and a Pittsburgh foul on Michael Young in the follow-up action, his first. Their non-conference schedule, Jay. Savannah State, Fresno State, Howard, Lehigh. I mean, the strong opponents that they played were Texas Tech, Stanford. It's not a murderer's row.
Yeah, Stanford's their best win. Stanford and Clemson here. They played Stanford up in New York.
Jefferson out for a corner three. Suleiman.
That was a great cut by Suleiman. Going against the grain as Emil Jefferson was going toward the basket. He just ran baseline to the corner and was wide open.
Robinson saw the double coming. And Zana fouled on the way up, so he's going to go back to the line. The foul on Rodney Hood is first.
Here's Suleiman. He's going to go all the way to the other side of the floor. And he's going to get this ball from Emil Jefferson. Just a terrific fill behind. And he found himself completely wide open. That was a great cut. Suleiman has scored his points and shot the ball very well coming off the bench. He started in this one.
Couldn't throw it into the ocean from beyond the three-point line early in the year.
Pittsburgh letting some opportunities go at the free throw line. Talib Zana gets fouled an awful lot. He only shoots free throws at a 60% clip.
Boy, Parker muscled his way into the goal, got a hand on the offensive rebound, but couldn't snatch it. Wow, Robinson finds the open Cameron Wright, who has 9.
It's really amazing how well Cam Wright shoots it. He's got an unorthodox release. He keeps it on his palm, which is not taught, but I'll tell you, he makes those mid-range shots.
Suleiman, boy, there's been some beautiful passing on both ends. Jefferson, the bucket. And then Brian Kersey with the whistle.
Well, when Cam Wright catches the ball, players are taught to keep that ball in your fingertips. He's got it in his palm, and he doesn't have his hand under the ball. It's over on the side of it, but you don't mess with it when it goes in, and that ball goes in.
Not sure what the whistle was about, but now play resumes.
James Robinson got hit in the eye, so he was needed a little injury timeout.
He's okay.
Well, Rodney Hood has done a really nice job in this ball game on Lamar Patterson. He has not gotten anything easy.
Two candidates for ACC Player of the Year honors. That's a travel. Young stumbling along the baseline. 7 turnovers committed by Pitt. Duke leads by 2. It is indeed a record crowd here tonight. The 12-year history of the Peterson Event Center. The biggest crowd, 12,944. The previous high was 12,925 for a game here against Syracuse in 2011. And the only negative about being in the building, you won't get to watch Did You See That? Brought to you by Verizon.
Well, and did you see that? Jabari Parker has shown you a little bit of everything in his game. He can post, he can step away and knock down a 3, he can drive it, he can take it in transition. He's really got the complete game, and he has drawn an awful lot of NBA personnel to see him in person, as he does almost every game, and he has not disappointed them to this point.
Walking to the press room at halftime, saw a couple of NBA scouts. Said, Jabari Parker's not bad, huh? The guy said, who?
Well, Jabari, there's no really good article by Laura Keeley of the News and Observer recently about Jabari Parker, the kind of kid he is, and it mentioned the possibility that he might go on a Mormon mission. Here's the lie. If he goes, he's going to have a lot of NBA scouts with him.
They'll go for 2 years with him. Well, that would be remarkable because he could go into the NBA as a very high draft pick in this year's draft, if not the #1 pick, make a lot of money immediately. Hood, nicely done, beautifully executed. 11 points for Hood. This is the largest lead for Duke now. 4 points, nearly 5 minutes into the second half.
Such simple action off the out-of-bounds underneath play. A lot of different options, but that wasn't a complicated play. What made it was Rodney Hood coming off that screen and catching it ready to shoot. He just exploded into that shot.
Hood's transfer from Mississippi State. There's a three for Michael Young. He has 9 points. Just the 4th three-point field goal he's made this year.
And he is really starting to come on as a player. A skilled player, not a great shooter, but he has drawn a tough assignment to guard Jabari Parker, and he's done overall a pretty decent job.
Hood drawn to the bucket. Not only a terrific player, but an outstanding young man by all accounts. Selected as a captain before he ever played in a game at Duke. Of course, he was around this group last year as a transfer. Deep 2 for Patterson. Trying to get something going. They've defended him very well tonight. Just 6 tonight for Lamar.
Well, that's Lamar Patterson's old man game, meant in a complimentary fashion, with that little shot fake and then the hesitation. He kind of jabs in and freezes Emil Jefferson, then steps back and knocks it down. And then just a quick little pin-in screen by Jefferson, and because Hood was ready to shoot when he caught it, he's able to beat the defense up. And when you can shoot it, it can set up a drive, and Hood, a lefty, you certainly can't allow him to go left, but what a terrific offensive player. That's a great 1-2 punch between Parker and Hood.
We spoke with Coach K this morning about Hood. He was selected a captain. Mike said the players vote, and then the coaches have some input as well. Then he smiled. He said the players did choose Hood. And Mike said we've been very fortunate to have a lot of terrific young men play at Duke over the years, and Hood is one of the best people I've coached, said Coach K this morning.
Well, oftentimes when a player is sitting out for a transfer year, you hear coaches say, hey, he's our best player. In practice, he's our best player. He's killing everybody. If we had him, boy, we'd be really good. And Coach K said some similar things about Hood last year, and he was really accurate.
Parker dumped it down to the baseline. The Pitt folks wanted to travel. Jefferson scores. Duke has hit its last 4 shots from the floor. The lead is 3 with under 4 minutes to go.
That's an example of Parker drawing so much attention that it's going to leave a teammate open.
Robinson long 2.
But what a great read by Robinson. Jabari Parker did not get up to hedge hard, and Robinson took advantage of it, just pulling up off that ball screen. That was really well read.
Chris Jones called for a bump.
So you watch Jabari Parker really late in getting there, and as a result, Robinson just pulls up and knocks that down, and you draw the defense. Zana just got caught in no man's land there where he wasn't guarding either one. But that threw Lamar Patterson over, tried to block that shot and open things up.
Parker the dunk. His first bucket of the second half. Duke is 7 out of 9 from the floor in this half, and Pittsburgh is 6 of 8. And now an offensive foul call. Here's Janine.
Well, Sean and Jay, we just saw another example of something that is really getting under Jamie Dixon's skin. 4 times he said to his players, wide open shots, wide open threes. He wants his players to do a much better job with their vision their anticipation and their communication to guard against those open shots by Duke.
Well, that might have been one of the problems. Those last two out-of-bounds plays, when you start worrying about the three-point line, you give up something easy inside. They were worried about Rodney Hood coming off a screen, and that left Jabari Parker wide open for the dunk. You don't see Pittsburgh giving up things that easily on out-of-bounds underneath. Duke has scored a couple of buckets in those special situations. That's staked them out to this lead, that execution. I'd be surprised if you could go back, and I've watched a lot of tape of Pittsburgh this year, and I haven't seen them give up a dunk on out-of-bounds underneath. That's something they don't do.
Jones goes to the bench. He has 3 fouls for Pitt. Tyler Thornton back on the court for Duke. Suleiman, Parker, Plumlee, and Hood. 10 to shoot. Hood bouncing to the bucket.
He got fouled.
Plumlee stepped on the end line, tightly guarded by Jamel Artis, and Plumlee turned it over.
Pittsburgh is so strong defensively. This team is really physical. You've got to be able to play through contact.
Ball for Artis, and Plumlee able to gather it in.
Not sure whether Artis should have taken that step back or just caught the ball and shot it, even though it would have been a longer two. He just about knocked that thing down. He has looked really confident in this game.
Parker into the traffic and a held ball. Excellent defense by Robinson. Stuck both hands in and tied it up.
Parker's got to pass that ball just off the ball screen because the defense was parked right in the middle of the lane. He's got to see that and will. But just a good defensive play by James Robinson. That's got to be a pass, though.
Chris Cotter in studio over on ESPN2. Notre Dame, one of 2 unbeatens in women's college hoops, with Maryland giving them a game. Look at the sweet pass. Alyssa Thomas to Alicia Devon. It is now a 1-point Maryland lead over on ESPN2. Meanwhile, coming up here on ESPN following our game, it's Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Lon Kruger hoping to lead the Sooners to victory. Sean?
He's done a terrific job everywhere he's been. ACC battle tonight. Still seems unusual to say. Pittsburgh, the newcomer out of the Big East, 6-1. Right behind Syracuse. Their only conference loss was to the Cuse. Duke's 5-2, winners of 4 in a row. The 4th top 25 opponent this year for Duke. Suleiman, top 3. Hood off Jefferson's offensive rebound, rebounded by Cameron Wright.
I thought Suleiman's shot was a bad one, but Emil Jefferson bailed him out. And I think that's the best time to take a 3 is after an offensive board.
Newkirk, nicely done. The freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina. And an example of a player that they signed because they went to the ACC. He's a lot more interested in playing for Pitt now that they're in the ACC. And so many of those conference games will be down his neck of the woods where he grew up.
Pittsburgh doing a better job of moving the ball. They've shot really well. They're 7 of 10 in the second half. Good move.
So impressed by the passing of both teams tonight. Hood to Jefferson that time. 10 points for Emil Jefferson. Mentioned Duke playing its 4th top 25 foe this year. They're 1-2. They beat Michigan. Lost to Arizona and Kansas. Both those losses were neutral site games. They beat Michigan in Cameron in the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Well, Sean, both teams, especially in the first half, have had opportunities by the rim and didn't finish some plays. But that one was the easiest one either team had without finishing. Zana's got to make that.
Zana. The big defensive play for Pittsburgh. Still down by 3. And we're more than midway through the second half now.
It's been a really well-played second half.
Patterson for the tie. Ping-balled around, and Cameron Wright tipped it out to Newkirk. Good fake by Patterson. And he's fouled by Jabari Parker.
Well, Talib Zanna might not have finished the play, but he finished the play on the defensive end. That was a terrific block. Comes from behind Jabari Parker as Jamel Artis stayed straight up and tried to make him shoot over, and that's why you don't want to foul in those situations. Give a teammate an opportunity to make a play.
Patterson made the first free throw. The foul on Parker, his second. The third against Duke here in the second half.
Lamar Patterson has not had one of his best games, but you give credit to the Duke defense. Rodney Hood, when he's been on him, has done a terrific job of making the catch difficult, not giving him anything easy. But that last pass fake that he made was terrific.
Well, passing runs in the family. Lamar's brother Perry Patterson, starting quarterback at Syracuse University, their football team, 2 years ago. Dawkins, floater, tipped in his own miss.
Pittsburgh did exactly what they wanted, running Dawkins off that three-point line. Made him take it difficult too, but then he got the rebound.
Patterson again, a little stop and go. And Plumlee scooped it off the floor.
You can see that Patterson is trying to be more aggressive to put Duke in a position to foul him. He's not going to be passive and sit back. Oh, what a move.
Quinn Cook, the three stays in. Looked like it might pop out, but it went down, and it's the largest lead of the night for Duke, and Jamie Dixon's in trouble. Brian Kersey just pointed at him, and now he's walked all the way over to tell him to get back on the bench. Jamie was indicating he thought there should have been an offensive foul for a ball handler of Duke using his free arm to shed the defender.
Boy, what a terrific move by Emil Jefferson. Pittsburgh jumps out on that handoff, and he just takes it all the way himself, draws the defense, and then kicks it over to Quinn Cook for an open three. And then Dawkins run off that three-point line. And that's one where he went right over Talib Zanna to tip in his own miss. Well, those are two big plays.
Wednesday night, ESPN's NBA Wednesday at 7. Kevin Durant, the hottest basketball player on the planet right now, leads the Thunder against LeBron James and the Heat. And then at 9:30, Tony Parker and the Spurs host the Bulls. NBA Wednesday is presented by State Farm. Both games are available live on Watch ESPN.
Well, Sean, this is a really big possession for Pittsburgh. Duke has moved it out to a 6-point lead. If you can get a score here, you can put some pressure back on.
Patterson, they double him. Young, his pass is kicked out of bounds. 8.5 to go, and 19 seconds on the shot clock for the Panthers.
Coming into this ballgame, we thought this would be a real toughness test for this Duke team. They have not been great on the road, and they haven't played a ton of road games. They played some on neutral floors.
Fourth true road game. Patterson a miss. Another rebound for Plumlee, coming off his career-high 7 points with 7 rebounds Saturday in their win against Florida State. All 7 of his rebounds on Saturday were at the offensive end.
If he can provide quality minutes, that would add a different dimension to this team. You have a guy that can go in and bang inside.
Plumlee averages 7 minutes per game, but in 3 of the last 4 games, he's played at least 12 minutes. Duke's won all 4 of them.
A good hedge by Zanna up top.
Cook, desperation heave as the shot clock is running out. And Plumlee, a good job to get on the offensive glass, and it's a Pitt foul. They thought it should have been on Plumlee, the fans, and Jamie Dixon. But I believe it's on Zanna instead, and it is his second. Jamie Dixon's really on the edge right now, but he cannot afford to get the technical with his team starting to slide away.
Well, Zanna trying to block out. He just had him by the arm. Good call.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Verizon. Verizon's 4G LTE network is 3 times larger than any other 4G LTE network. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Verizon. Verizon's 4G LTE network is 3 times larger than any other 4G LTE network.
Back in Pittsburgh, they're visiting Duke. Leads by 6. Make its first trip to the Peterson Event Center for a record crowd. Most of them unhappy right now as Duke has its largest lead of the night with just under 8 minutes to go. Duke shooting 47% for the game.
Shooting 50% from 3, 9 of 18.
And off the inbound play, it's Dawkins set up perfectly for another 3. He has 11. That's his third three-point goal of the night.
One of the big differences in this game has been Duke's execution on out-of-bounds underneath plays.
Pittsburgh needs to find offense down the stretch. Instead, they turn it over. Bad pass by Cameron Wright.
Now Duke, after the turnover, come down and make Pittsburgh guard, run a little bit of clock.
Patterson, look out. He didn't see Jefferson coming from behind. He flicked it away. Transition 3 for Dawkins. Jefferson, the offensive rebound. He's fouled by Robinson. His second.
Duke got Rodney Hood off out of bounds underneath. They were able to get a terrific back cut to get Jabari Parker. And here they're just going to get, ooh,
Off the screen.
well, Andre Dawkins just came over. They're running the exact same set, but they've got so many options running off of it. You're looking for one thing, you get another.
Jefferson sort of jarring pick on that play. Missed the first free throw. It does seem as the season goes along that the enforcement of some of the physical play has backed off a little bit.
Well, that's
1 out of 2 for Jefferson.
That's always been a problem. Off ball screening and grabbing of cutters and all that. That's been a problem for years. They're trying to get rid of the on ball issues with the being able to get your hands all over a ball handler, right?
Patterson having a rough night, and it goes out of bounds to Duke with a 10-point lead, the largest of the night for either team.
So even though that Pittsburgh hasn't been able to stop Duke on some of these possessions, especially on these out-of-bounds plays, one of the failings of the Panthers tonight in the second half has been their inability over this stretch to be able to trade baskets. They haven't executed offensively either.
Saw Jamie Dixon down the bench talking to his assistants, Brandon Knight, Barry Borson, looking for some help, some suggestions, some answers. They can't solve their problems right now. Shot clock under 10 for Duke. Cook, well guarded by Wright. There's Dawkins for 3.
But he is either on or he's not. And in this one, he has been on. And whether it's late in the clock off out of bounds plays, you give him a chance to set his feet when he is feeling good. And he is one confident shooter.
Patterson ends a long drought. Their previous 10 possessions, Pittsburgh was 0 for 8 from the floor with 2 turnovers.
Well, Jamie Dixon talked about it at the shoot-around today. Duke's ability to penetrate. That penetration drew 3 defenders, and it also drew James Robinson in off of Andre Dawkins. And Cook was able to find him, and you give him a little bit of space after he's been knocking shots down. And like I think you said earlier, it's like a layup to him.
Foul on Jefferson was his third. Artis back in. Patterson finished the three-point play. Dawkins in double digits with the 14 points. Duke this year is 9-0 when he scores in double figures, and in his career they're 38-2. He's feeling it, and he should be.
Some shades of a couple years ago when he dropped think it was 26 on Michigan State in the Garden. Once he makes a couple, that basket's like a garbage can to him.
And Jefferson, the block. And you can feel the air going out of the sellout crowd here as we approach 5 minutes to go. And Duke has taken control.
This has been as good as Duke has looked all season long, especially in a road or neutral game.
Good. Kind of forced it into the traffic. Robinson, they really do have to attack when they have the opportunity now. And Peterson makes a three.
What a good pass by James Robinson. And Lamar Patterson really trying to fire up his teammates to get a stop.
14 points for Lamar Patterson. Been in double figures now in 20 of their 21 games this year. Timeout, Coach K. 2 timeouts left for each team.
Patterson just bumped back to that three-point line, and Robinson came down and stopped. He didn't take it too deep. And then Andre Dawkins, just a terrific shot fake, one dribble, stayed behind that three-point line. He had a big smile on his face after he hit that one, and why not? He has been knocking down shot after shot all over the place, and when he's hot, they continue to look for him and to go to him.
Wednesday night at 9, ESPN2, your chance to get a look at the #1 team in the country, Arizona, with Aaron Gordon taking on Stanford. And then at 9 o'clock on ESPNU, also at 9, Iowa State and #6 Kansas. That's Wednesday night hoops at 9 on ESPN2 and ESPNU. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. Andre Dawkins, one of the great three-point shooters in Duke history, 41% career. There are only 4 players in the storied history of Blue Devils basketball who shot a higher percentage from three. I did not realize Christian Laettner is #1 on that list, 48.5% for his career. Langdon, Curry, and Battier, the others ahead of him.
Laettner was not only a great player, he was a great shooter.
How about this execution on offense and a chance for a three-point play. Boy, they're putting on a clinic with their half-court passing game. Jefferson, a chance for the old-fashioned three.
Well, you have to guard the three-point line, and when you do, the floor is spread. And a roll to the basket, nobody picks up that roll because you're worried about the three-point line. And Emil Jefferson makes the catch and is able to go up with a shot fake to get Robinson to fly by, and he picks up the foul on Wright.
His third, the team's 7th.
And Jefferson does so many good things for this team. He's not a primary scorer, but you can put him out on the floor. You don't have to run a play for him. And he'll go and get the ball. He defends, runs the floor, and finishes plays.
His free throw shooting has gotten much better the last few games. He was down in the low 40s for the year. It's a percentage that's coming up. 4 out of 5 tonight. Parker ripped the ball out of the traffic. The ball in a 13-point lead for Duke with 4 minutes to go.
Now Duke can afford to spread it out and take their time. And you spread the floor, use all 50 feet from side to side. Jabari Parker in one corner, Jefferson in the other.
Parker. Offensive rebound by Jefferson and a new shot clock. They can take it down to about 3 minutes to go. Double-double now for Emil Jefferson with 14 points and 10 rebounds.
That was another big play. He's an area rebounder. He gets rebounds out of his area. Not every player does that.
Cook. That was easy, and that doesn't happen very often against Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh has been really spread out on the defensive end.
Robinson. And one.
Mike Krzyzewski still coaching like this is a 2-point game, and he went down to his knees when Pitt made that play. He's imploring his team to play better defense.
Foul was on Emil Jefferson, his 4th.
Otter in studio, undefeated Notre Dame. Getting a game from Maryland in the women's game over on ESPN2. Look at Alyssa Thomas here, getting the rebound and then finding Renee Mosley for the bucket for the Terps. Thomas has 28 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Jay Will says she's one of the best players in the women's game. Here's Marcus Smart, one of the best players in the men's game. Wooden Award candidate, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma coming your way in about 14 minutes time. Sean, Jay?
All right, thank you, Chris. Just 2 points in the second half from Jabari Parker, but Duke has pulled away after Parker had 16 points in the first half. Andre Dawkins has taken over for Pitt. For Duke, rather, here in the second half.
He's got 11 points in the second half. He's knocked down 5 of 6 threes on the game. How about Duke's job on the offensive glass? It's not like they've been muscling their way up above the rim, but they've got 11 offensive rebounds for the game. That's 20 second chance points, and Emil Jefferson has 6 of those offensive rebounds, 10 overall, to go along with 2 blocks.
James Robinson completed the three-point play. Jefferson with 4 fouls, not on the court at the moment. They have Hood, Parker, Dawkins, Cook, and Suleiman out there. And Pittsburgh down by 12 with 3 minutes to go, bring the full court pressure.
That's going to open some things up to attack.
And again, they'll spread the floor and run the clock. Wow. Fouls on Newkirk away from the ball, as apparently he was hanging on to Quinn Cook. The first foul on the freshman, the 8th team foul, so it'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Quinn Cook. It was a terrific free throw shooter, just over 86% for the season.
You know, Sean, when Duke went into that game against Virginia in Cameron Indoor Stadium, Mike Krzyzewski decided he was going to play more people. Now, he platooned through that game. It looked like a hockey game with line changes, but one of the reasons was the amount of minutes that Quinn Cook had been playing. He'd been averaging 36, 37 minutes. And since then, he's been playing fewer minutes, but Duke's been playing better because everybody seems to be fresher. They can attack more, and it seems to have paid off because they've played really well, both offensively and defensively since.
Suleiman called for the foul, his second. Zana to shoot 2. As Jay said earlier, Talib not terrific from the line. 61%. He gets there a lot. Their team leader by far in free throw attempts, 125. About 6.5 a game. Well, they're back within 10. Largest lead was 15. Super Tuesday doubleheader tomorrow. Spartans and the Hawkeyes, a terrific game in the Big Ten. And then Kentucky and LSU, the SEC offering. Both games on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. Trouble getting it in for Duke. So Coach K is now left with 1 timeout. It's getting close to that time if they can maintain this margin. We can look ahead to their next game. We talked about how this might be the most anticipated game in the history of the Peterson Event Center in its 12 years. Well, it's certainly one of the most anticipated games in terms of tickets sold before the game. The most anticipated game in the 30-plus year history of the Carrier Dome and game day, and you'll be there on Saturday night.
Well, a lot of times we tend to look at these schedules in weeks. Like this is a big week for Duke because they're on the road at Pittsburgh, a difficult place to play. Then they go on the road at Syracuse. But, you know, Mike Krzyzewski's always looked at his seasons in segments, and this is the end of a segment for them of 3 games in 6 days. And then they start a new one at Syracuse. But this is a really important time in the schedule for Duke because I think their schedule really eases up after this. Nothing's easy in the ACC. Nobody's suggesting that. But you do have tougher stretches. And this week would end a really tough stretch. And I don't think Duke's schedule down the stretch is anywhere near as difficult as, say, Syracuse's or Virginia's.
They take the clock all the way down, and then they get an open 3 for Dawkins. 20 points for Andre.
Well, you can say, how could they leave Andre Dawkins? But Rodney Hood had Talib Zana on him, and Pittsburgh trying to help out. But you help out off a 3-point shooter that has been fiery hot all game long. That was clearly a defensive breakdown. You can see Zana, and Lamar Patterson comes off to help because he knows his teammate is in trouble. And that left Andre Dawkins. It's just a know your personnel issue. And Dawkins has a smile from ear to ear. He'd like to put some more time on the clock. When the basket's that big, you want to keep going.
20 points for Dawkins. His career high is 28 against Bradley back in 2010. 14 of those 20 points here in the second half. The 20 points matches his season high. He had 20 against Eastern Michigan. And as soon as we're finished here in frigid Pittsburgh, boy, it's been cold all over the country. We'll have record cold temperatures here tonight, down around 10 below zero. We'll head to Oklahoma for Oklahoma State and the Sooners. Cook with Newkirk on his hip the whole way, found Dawkins, and they'll slow down.
Duke's just going to run clock. There aren't enough possessions, even if they don't get a shot at the end of every clock. There aren't enough possessions left in the game if they burn clock for Pittsburgh to come back.
So should Pittsburgh be fouling?
I think so.
Suleiman attacked the goal. Yanked down by Zana. They move in a hurry. Down by 11, less than a minute and a half to go.
Duke got away with a foul there.
Patterson. Well guarded by Dawkins. It popped out. Yanked down by Hood. And Duke is on its way to its 5th win in a row. Timeout called by Cook as they were coming to trap him. Duke's out of timeouts. Now on Saturday, when Mike Krzyzewski takes the Blue Devils to Syracuse, it'll be the 2 winningest coaches in the history of Division I college basketball head-to-head. The only coaches who have won 900 games at one school, 5 titles between the two of them at the college level. And as we mentioned, they've teamed up to win a couple of gold medals with Krzyzewski, the head coach of the U.S. Olympic team, and Boeheim, his assistant. Mike Krzyzewski told us earlier today when Jerry Colangelo, the head of USA Basketball, called him and offered him the job, he said, you can pick one assistant coach from the college game. We're going to select a couple of NBA guys with you. And he said he didn't hesitate. He said to Jerry Colangelo, I'm going to choose Jim Boeheim. Called Boeheim that night. And it is a major time commitment. And you talk about the pressure, Jamie. If you lose a game as the coach of USA Basketball, it is considered to be a stunning development, even though Mike was talking about how good the rest of the world is at playing this sport.
Yeah, it is. It is really difficult to win at the level at which they've won. And you know, Mike Krzyzewski has done this for what, 10 years now or so, and he's lost a game.
One.
Lost one game.
62-1.
Lost to Greece.
He's coaching the national team in all the competitions. I can't believe they brought him back after they lost to Greece.
Actually, I think the USA Basketball experience under the leadership of Jerry Colangelo has re-energized, in a way, both Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim. I think they've coached longer. They've coached at a higher level. They've continued to, you know, just when you think you know it all, they've continued to learn about the game. It's been really an eye-opening experience for me to watch it.
Parker's free throw popped out. Patterson's foul was his second. Robinson goes right to the bucket. And he was fouled by Suleiman.
And that's one thing you don't want to do in that situation. You want to put some pressure on, make it a difficult 2, but you know, there aren't enough possessions in the game if you're giving up 2s for Pitt to be able to come back. Last thing you want to do is foul. Pittsburgh can set up a press. You let them score with no time going off the clock.
3 fouls on Suleiman. Robinson shooting a pair. It was a homecoming for him over the weekend. He's from Mitchellville, Maryland, played at DeMatha Catholic, one of the best-known high school basketball programs in the country. His Pittsburgh Panthers Saturday morning held their day of game shoot-around at his old high school, not far from Maryland campus. Robinson's the winningest player in the history of that school with 120 wins in 4 years.
That's saying something.
Yeah, they've had so many great teams. Lamar Patterson called for the foul, his third. And it's the double bonus now. Pitt will shoot, Duke will shoot 2 the rest of the way. Jabari Parker at the line.
Parker
third straight double-double.
And with a chance to get up to 20 again. He hit a stretch when ACC play started when he didn't perform his best. A lot of people said, well, he's hit the freshman wall, and I don't know, there may be a little bit of truth to that. I thought it had more to do with the quality of shot that he was taking rather than some sort of fatigue. But he's still a young player that's learning, and he is learning well.
This is 12th 20-point game of the year. Newkirk missed the three. And a foul called in the backcourt. By the way, with the 20 points tonight for the 12th time in his freshman year, that's the Duke freshman record for most 20-point games. He was tied with Gene Banks. Starting tonight, Gene had 11 20-point games as a freshman back in 1977 and 78. And he's on pace to have the highest scoring average by a freshman player in Duke history. The mark is 18.1 points by Johnny Dawkins in 1982-83. Jabari Parker averaging right around 19 points per game with this performance. Patterson fires a long three.
And Patterson did not get the numbers that he's used to. And he's a terrific college player, and he's having a great year. But I thought the job defensively that Rodney Hood did on him contributed to the troubles that he had out there. This is one of the better performances defensively that I've seen from Duke all season.
What do you think will be the keys to the Syracuse-Duke matchup on Saturday?
Well, I think rebounding is going to be a big factor. That both the teams defend fairly well. I think Syracuse is a better defensive team than Duke, but Duke is starting to play the kind of defense that I think most people expected from them at the beginning of the year. But rebounding, your ability to get good shots against that zone without turning the ball over and let Syracuse score off its defense. That's where your offense has to help your defense. Because if you turn it over, I mean, both Tyler Ennis and Trevor Cooney are 1 and 2 in the ACC in steals. That's remarkable out of his zone.
Very active at the top of that zone. Robinson misses a three. So this will be the third loss for Pittsburgh, its worst loss of the year. They've played three teams ranked in the top 50 in the RPI and lost all three of them now. Cincinnati, Syracuse, and now Duke. After a tight first half, Duke demonstrated it was the better team in the second half. Double-double for Parker and for Jefferson. 6 three-pointers for Andre Dawkins. He had 20 points. Final score is Duke 80 and Pittsburgh 65. For Janine Edwards, Jay Billis, Sean McDonough saying so long from Pittsburgh. Now to Brent Musburger and Fran Fraschilla in Oklahoma.